What's going on, guys? It's FB here. Today we're going to be discussing the mistakes that I've made as a mini dolphin in Etheria restart. In a grand total, I have spent $152 on this game's final beta test, and essentially I will be starting the game with a head start, and that'll be a completely separate video. But I just wanted to discuss my experience with the game and the things that moving forward would probably help newer players in terms of progression, as well as just making sure that you don't hinder your account. So firstly, as you can probably see on the screen, I leveled way too many characters, especially in the early and mid game. And this is something that is like pseudo unavoidable because you can't necessarily control when you get units, but what you can control is the flexibility of the gear that you provide to units, as well as the units that you decide that you're going to build all the way up until endgame, that they do provide you with at the beginning of the game. Namely, especially if you summon on Freya's banner, Dinah is 100% one character that you should be leveling up all the way. Gray, if you get Sonya used to be one of the characters, but unfortunately she's no longer a priority. I'll discuss that in the patch notes video that I'm going to have coming up. But mostly characters like Ling Luo, Valerian is actually really good now. Chiaki, if you really want to prioritize Terramatan. But Marvel is probably the best character to run in terms of right now, in terms of progression for anybody's account. Even with his nerfs, he probably is still the best character to use in terms of just ensuring clear speed as well as clear reliability with the FRS down. He's 100% still the best bet that you're going to have in terms of characters to build. Outside of him, Gray is an incredibly reliable option. Definitely can't go wrong with building Gray. He gives you that crit rate buff, he gives you the defense break, and he just makes your team a lot more consistent, as well as lowering the stat requirement. He can be used all the way up until endgame. Additionally, what I did is I tried to stretch out all of the content that I could do by building a vast amount of characters. In the beginning of the game, in my opinion, what you should be focusing on is getting your Terramatan, Doki Doki, Aurora, and your shells at a consistent and fast clear speed and clear rate. Essentially, like I would do stuff for GP Outpost because I wanted to get levels, tell me do things faster. The first thing you should be trying to do is either making sure your Terramatan team is good or making sure your Doki Doki team is good. Before anything else, make sure those things are good. And then after that, then you can start worrying about your shells. And then after you have your shells at a decent spot, not necessarily optimal, but at a decent spot, that's when you start worrying about stuff like GP Outpost for skill enhancers and things of that nature. I am trying to keep it kind of fast here because I have like 3 hours to edit and get all this out. But additionally, I also did have the issue in terms of resources. Etheria coins. Do not over level gear. I leveled a bunch of purple and gold gear all the way to 15 just to hit certain stat requirements for Terramatan and Doki Doki. You don't need to do that. In terms of leveling gear, you really should only be maxing out the right side gear for like crit rate or attack percent if you really think you need it. That left side gear should never be getting plus 15 at gold or lower. But you really don't need that. You guys will be having red gear eventually. If you really think that you need to do it, you can do it because you will get reimbursed. But try not to make it a habit across all of your characters because it does catch up on you. Additionally, one of the biggest mistakes that I made is not pushing arena from literally day one. The longer you hold off on doing arena, the harder it's going to be for you to climb. So definitely capitalize as soon as possible when it comes to grinding arena and making sure that you get to at least platinum, I would say, is the bare minimum you should get to as soon as you unlock arena, just because you'll be fighting nothing but bots, so it should be free matches all the way. Another thing is summoning on that selector banner. So when at the beginning of the game, you would have a selector banner which has every character. In the final beta test, it was every character except for Hoyan in terms of red, green, blue characters. I believe Hoyan should be added back. I'm not too sure. We'll see on the day one video. But every character should be in there. I would 100% in terms of the final release of the game, hold off on that selector banner until you get your 14-day ticket. from one of the events that's gonna give you like the Ling Luo, the one that gives you Ling Luo as well as the SSR ticket. Wait until day 14 to use that selector, in my opinion, because you never know what you would get within that time frame. And I've definitely been a victim of dupes. I got, I believe, two Freyas as well as 2 Chlorus's, and I definitely didn't need to get that guy twice, right? I picked, I believe, Born. Born was also not a really good pick. Like, he was decent in early game for like the AoE clears, but there were 100% better options. And things like Rosa, Tiamat, there are a lot of better options to choose from. Even Romocha would probably have been a better fit for me as opposed to picking Born. So just be mindful of your selector and making sure that it's optimal in terms of your progression, especially if you want to be competitive in the game. Outside of that, if you do have like a favorite character, a character that really stands out to you, obviously pick that from the selector immediately. Because for me, personally, like, I don't think you should summon on the Messiah banner, but Messiah is my favorite character. So if I get a Messiah dudes, that's only helping me. I'm gonna have the best Messiah in the server, right? If I get a bunch of Messiah dudes. So I'm 100% summoning on the Messiah banner, but in terms of that ML banner as well, with the currency that you get to summon on that banner, the gold tickets, you should be using that on the standard ML banner, not the Messiah banner, just so you have the chance to get stuff like Lily, Mio, all the new, all the Dark Light characters. Even Heinrich is a really good option. So make sure that you're not summoning on the Messiah banner as well. So I think that's it in terms of pulls. And then, yeah, lastly, Marvel is super good. Like, he falls off in PvP really fast once people start building Aurora and immunity. But up until that point, Marvel will 100% carry you. Marvel is like the king of PvE up until Inferno. And even in Inferno, with the new character Mizuki that's coming out, if you just speed tune Mizuki to go right before Marvel, you're still all set. Because she does the AoE Dispel. You AoE Dispel into Marvel, you Marvel into Dinah into your DPS, and you're set for pretty much majority of the content in the game. So make sure you have Marvel, make sure you have Dinah, and the rest is really history. You could have the Ting. Victor got nerfed a bit. I don't know how, I'm not sure how viable Victor will be anymore, but there's a bunch of like 5-star DPSs that are great as well. A lot of underrated characters that you're gonna see a lot of underrated characters I'll be mentioning on this channel. But yeah, I just wanted to share a few of the mistakes that I made as somebody who has invested, you know, a little bit of monetary value into the game. So with that being said, I hope you guys do have a great rest of your day, and I'm out of here.